Hey guys, it's been 3 months since I've made a video. I know I keep, telling you guys all the time that I'm gonna, try to work harder to make videos, but honestly I lost the drive to do YouTube for a while, and I'm gonna try to get more videos out there. The first video that I'm gonna kind of restart with is an update video. I have bought so many movies that I really can't remember what I have and haven't shown you. So I know there's stuff in here that you haven't seen, but there might be some stuff in here that you have seen. I'm not entirely sure, so forgive me if I'm showing stuff you've already seen. I'm just trying to get a couple other movies out here. I'll start with one stack. I'm going to kind of go fast here. We got this movie 3-pack. I mainly only got this for Nixon because I really loved it when I first saw it, and so I decided to pick this up. I haven't watched the two other movies on here, Billy Bathgate and Blaze. I only watched Nixon. It's the only reason I bought it. Being John Malkovich, really good movie, directed by Spike Lee. I'd never seen this before, but I had heard a lot about it. And really highly recommend this if you haven't seen it. Knocked Up. I had never seen this movie until up to about maybe like a month ago. And was really surprised at how funny it actually was. There's not very many newer comedies that really make me laugh a lot, but this one definitely did. Silent Hill. Just recently bought this. Haven't watched it all the way through yet, but from what I had seen, it was really kind of freaky. A lot of people have said some good things about this movie. American Pie. I had never seen this until up to a couple months ago, and wasn't as funny as I thought it'd be, but it was still an okay movie. It's kind of a famous comedy, so that's kind of why I picked it up, but it was still an okay movie. A Few Good Men. Still haven't watched this yet. I've had it for a couple of months now. Has Jack Nicholson in it, mainly why I bought it. I have heard of it before, but I've never had a desire to watch it, but I'll get around to watching this sometime. Got a horror movie double feature. We have When a Stranger Calls and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mainly got this for I Know What You Did Last Summer, because I never see the first movie out. I always see the second or the third one. But I haven't watched that all the way through yet, but it's written by the same man who did the Scream movies, Kevin Williamson, or at least the first 2 and 4. When a Stranger Calls I had seen before, and it was pretty good. These next 4 I'm going to do together. I have the first 4 seasons of Breaking Bad. A couple months ago, well, I should say way back in like December, we had I didn't go to school for like a week and a half because we had such a terrible snowstorm. So I started watching Breaking Bad on Netflix, and I really loved it. And I just recently rebought the seasons because I had to rewatch it because I didn't finish it. And I've watched the first 2 seasons, and I watched the first disc of the 3rd season. So, need to catch up on this. I haven't watched it in a long time, but Breaking Bad, really good if you haven't checked it out yet. Got the Star Trek Motion Picture Collection. I have tried to get into Star Trek for the longest time, and I just never could. And recently I picked this up because a friend of mine said I should, and I was really surprised at how much I loved the first movie. I did love the first movie, yes. And then Star Trek 2 is just as good. Star Trek 3, I've watched all of it except for like the last 10 minutes, but I'm going to have to end up watching it again. But all the movies come in little slim cases like this, and it has all 6 movies and then a bonus features disc. But I have to get around to finishing these movies here sometime soon. I do plan on getting the TV show box sets whenever I can. The Blob, the 80s remake. Watched this with my nephew when he was here, pretty freaking disgusting movie if you haven't seen it. Right up to par with The Thing. Really disgusting. The Exorcist 3. Seen the second movie. Wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was still pretty bad. And a lot of people have said this movie is major improvement over number 2. And it's directed by William Peter Blatty, who wrote the original novel. So, I've yet to watch this yet. The Wolf of Wall Street. I cannot tell you how excited I was to see this movie. But the theater in my town did not play this movie because it's owned I think by like a really uptight family, like a very rich family, and they didn't show this movie and they didn't show Django Unchained when it came out, so I just waited till the DVD. And honestly, Martin Scorsese's done better. It was an okay movie. I didn't think it was as amazing as other people had said it was, but it's still a really good movie. It's like 3 hours long. Really long movie, so you better have some time on your hands when you watch it. 12 Years a Slave. Won Best Picture, so I knew I was going to have to watch it. Did not really like it as much as I thought I would. It's one of those movies where it deals with racism, it deals with slavery, so naturally it was probably going to win Best Picture. It wasn't a bad movie, but I just didn't think it was the movie that should have won Best Picture. But still a good movie. Gravity. Now, when I was watching the Oscars, I had not seen this yet, and I didn't want this to win Best Picture because it's only an hour and a half. It's a special effects movie. I didn't think it deserved Best Picture. My mind changed when I first watched it. This is the 2001 of the 21st century. The special effects in this movie are groundbreaking. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and he also directed the third Harry Potter movie. That's the only other movie I've seen him do. I believe he won Best Director for this movie. But if you haven't seen this yet, highly recommend watching it. Changeling. This is a Clint Eastwood movie that I've wanted to see for a while. And I haven't seen a really good Angelina Jolie movie in a while. And this is based on a true story about how Angelina Jolie's daughter or son disappears, and she goes on this journey to try to find him, and they end up finding her son, but it's not her son. Like it's not the same boy. And these doctors and these people think she's going insane, so they end up like locking her away for a while, and it keeps going on and on with a plot twist, literally up until the very end of the movie. Very good Clint Eastwood movie. Really highly recommend this. Shadow of the Vampire. This is another movie I've wanted to see for a long time. This is a fictional account of the making of Nosferatu, the 1922 silent film. William Dafoe plays Max Schreck / Count Orlok, and John Malkovich plays F.W. Murnau. And there was a rumor going around when the movie was made, Nosferatu, that Max Schreck was an actual vampire. And this movie is about how F.W. Murnau finds Count Orlok, in this castle, hires him to be in his movie, and Count Orlok starts killing off some of the crew that's making the movie. Really good movie if you haven't seen it. If you're a Nosferatu fan and you haven't seen this movie, highly check it out. Sweeney Todd. I had seen this a long time ago, and up until recently I watched it again, and it was just as good as I remembered it. Tim Burton, again, makes a really fantastic movie with Johnny Depp. Very bloody, very gory. Music is really good. Can't get any better. Her. Now, there's a lot of people that thought I was crazy that I wanted to see this movie so bad, because it's about a man that essentially falls in love with his computer. And a lot of people thought that would be a really stupid movie. And But I was really excited to see this, and I bought the DVD, and I immediately fell in love with it. I absolutely loved it. This is Spike Jonze, and I want to say, I think I said Spike Lee directed Being John Malkovich. It was Spike Jonze, not Spike Lee. I think I said Spike Lee. But really good movie. Spike Jonze deserved that Best Screenplay Academy Award. Very good movie if you haven't seen it. As good as it gets. This is a Jack Nicholson movie. This is the only, like, the really good Jack Nicholson movie that I hadn't seen yet. And I was super excited to watch this, and I watched it on Netflix a while back, and I bought the DVD, and this is a fantastic movie. I can't tell you how much I love this movie. James L. Brooks should, make more movies and not stick to making Simpsons shit. But this is a very good movie. The Descendants. Never had a huge desire to watch this movie. I picked it up because I've read good things about it, and it's also directed by Alexander Payne, who wrote and directed About Schmidt and Nebraska. Very good movie. A lot of people have said this movie's boring, but this movie was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I think it's better than About Schmidt. I think it's better than Nebraska. This features Shailene Woodley. She was Hazel in Fault in Our Stars, and she was in Divergent. I can't remember the character name, but very good movie if you haven't seen it. Terms of Endearment. I only bought this because it won Best Picture. I'm on my constant search to watch all the movies that have won Best Picture, and this was a really good movie. This is another James L. Brooks movie. Features Jack Nicholson. Really good movie. Has a sad ending. Don't want to give anything away, but this also features a really young Jeff Daniels. So, really good movie if you haven't seen it. Scent of a Woman. I have a VHS copy of this movie, and I watched it forever ago, and I loved this movie. I finally was able to find a DVD copy of it, and Al Pacino was fantastic in this movie. I do think he overacts a little bit, but that's just the Al Pacino style. But Chris O'Donnell, probably the only good movie he's ever done. Really good movie. Director, the guy that directed Beverly Hills Cop, directed this movie. Fantastic. Al Pacino won an Academy Award for that. It's a fantastic movie. The Notebook. I have not watched this yet. The main reason why I bought it was because after watching The Fault in Our Stars for a second time, a lot of people said this movie, The Fault in Our Stars, was just as sad as this movie, and I hadn't seen it yet, so I thought I would pick it up, and it's sitting on my shelf, and I tell myself I need to watch it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Man of Steel. Didn't get around to watching this until the DVD came out, and I'm not a huge Superman fan. I was not a huge fan of Superman, the 78 movie, but I did like Superman Returns. I thought it was pretty good, and didn't have terribly high expectations for Man of Steel, but this is definitely the best Superman movie I've ever seen. The reason why I liked it was because it wasn't boring. The other movies I thought were just boring, but this was a good movie. The Last Emperor. I found this in a gas station for $4. This is a Criterion Collection release, by the way. That's fucking cheap, $4. This won Best Picture. I knew it won Best Picture, so again, I bought it. This is a foreign movie, and it's about the last emperor of China. And this was another really good movie. Another really long movie as well. But if you haven't seen this out, check it out. It won Best Picture for a reason. Bad Grandpa. I'm a fan of Jackass. A lot of people think it's stupid and retarded, but I love Jackass. I love the movies. I love the TV show. Bad Grandpa, there was a couple really funny parts in it, but I thought it wasn't as funny as the actual Jackass movies, but still really good. Jackass 3. Really good Jackass movie. Definitely, 2 might be a little better than this one, but this one was still really good. The Majestic. Now, this is a movie that I heard about in my U.S. history class a couple years ago. We were learning about the Red Scare, about, people being accused of communists. And this was Jim Carrey's first dramatic role, where he's a screenwriter who gets put on the blacklist, and he ends up getting in a car accident, and he loses his memory, and he ends up wandering into this small town where they mistake him for this long-lost guy that was lost in the war. And the Majestic is a movie theater that Jim Carrey's dad in the movie, this guy lost a son in the war, and Jim Carrey's character is this guy's son that owns the Majestic. It's hard to explain, but they fix up the Majestic and they show movies, and I loved this movie. It's directed by Frank Darabont, I don't know. He directed The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, and The Mist. And there are so many bad reviews for this movie. Like, I don't understand why. I thought this movie was better than The Green Mile. I loved The Majestic. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Around the World in 80 Days. Haven't watched it yet. Again, it won Best Picture. That's why I bought it. I'll get around to watching it here sometime soon. The Ring 2. I saw The Ring a long time ago, and I have to watch it again. The only reason I picked this up was because it was buy 3 and get 1 free, and so I thought I'd get this one. So The Ring 2. The Wrestler. I have wanted to see this movie for a long time. This is Mickey Rourke's return, his big acting return. This is directed by Darren Aronofsky. He directed Black Swan, Noah, and Requiem for a Dream. Haven't watched this yet, but really excited to finally get hands on a copy. I haven't seen a copy of this anywhere. The Wedding Singer. I mainly got this for nostalgic purposes. I saw it, as a kid, and growing up I used to watch it, and I really loved it. Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore have a really good chemistry. So, it's a really funny comedy. I recommend it. Good Night and Good Luck. I haven't watched this yet, but the movie is about Edward R. Murrow? I'm not really sure. I've read good reviews about it. And I don't know a whole lot about this movie, but I think it's about Edward R. Murrow. He was a famous news reporter. But good night and good luck. The Royal Tenenbaums. This literally, I saw it said Criterion Collection in the store. I thought, it's Criterion Collection, so that must mean it's a good movie. It was only $3. This movie is directed by Wes Anderson. He's also directed The Grand Budapest Hotel and another famous movie that I can't remember. But this movie, it features Jack Nicholson, Angelica Houston, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ben Stiller, Bill Murray, Luke and Owen Wilson. I mean, the list just goes on. This is a really strange movie. It's about these three children end up coming back to visit their father, played by Gene Hackman, who announces that he's sick. And Ben Stiller's character was like a successful businessman at like 7 years old. Gwyneth Paltrow's character is a famous playwright, and then Luke Wilson is a famous tennis player. Very good movie if you haven't seen it. Very strange movie. But then again, Wes Anderson's known for making weird movies, but really good movie. And finally, the last movie that I have for today is Shakespeare in Love. Again, it won Best Picture, so I picked it up. I've heard about it. The freshman English class would watch this for Romeo and Juliet. I never watched it, but the movie it's a fictional account of how Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet. He ends up falling in love with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, Judi Dench won her Academy Award for this movie. It's directed by John Madden. It was an okay movie. I didn't think it was Best Picture material, but I thought, I mean, it was an okay movie. If you're into sappy romance stories and this is the movie for you, I didn't think it was amazing. But there you go. This is gonna be update number 1. I also have some video games that I have to show you. I bought a new system. I also have a lot of books that I've bought. But this is update number 1 for you guys, and I'm sorry that I've been away for such a long time, but I'll definitely get around to making some more videos. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.